Peoples, this is Lola GRACE checking in your space, not too much in your face, with another edition of Off the Cuff. And once again, yes, another edition of Off the Cuff indeed. So basically, it's called Off the Cuff because apart from choosing the verse that I'm going to get into, I don't prepare what I'm going to say. So the verse that I will be discussing in this Off the Cuff is James 1:22. It's short and sweet and to the point. So the verse goes like this: Be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. Okay? So when I went into that verse, I immediately thought of a teacher and a student in a classroom. And the teacher has homework for the student, because as you listen to the lesson, or even if you're in college is even better. This might be a good one, right? What I'm thinking, this might be a good one. College is even better because, more people in college take notes, or they take better notes than students in high school. And when you relate that, you can relate that to church. You can relate that to church, where the pastor is like the teacher or the lecturer or the professor, and the congregation is a student body. So what I was thinking of was the fact that you can compare, certain Christians to school-age children. When you are ready to eat the meat, you graduate to university. But when you're still a babe, as it said in the Bible, babes that are not yet ready for meat, if you're still a babe, you might be kindergarten through 12th grade, But when you're ready to take your sabbatical walk and your relationship with God to the next level, come on now, I think it's going to be important to be taking notes during the sermon. Okay, so, you had a chance to kick it kindergarten through 12th grade. You wasn't taking notes during the sermon. That was because you were still a child. But once you have graduated to university, come on now, you got to take notes. And once you graduate to being a better Christian, you got to take better notes. Or you can even compare it to being in the choir, Being in the choir doesn't necessarily require you to be in university as a Christian, but taking notes during the sermon. So what I'm trying to say is that just because you don't take notes during the sermon doesn't mean you're not a mature Christian. And just because you take notes during the sermon, just because you take notes during the sermon, that doesn't automatically mean that, you're such an advanced or mature Christian. But I just had to say the one part about the notes because it relates directly with being a student in the body of Christ or a student in the world. Yeah. Because, you hear the sermon. You hear the sermon, and if you want the sermon to register into action, and if you want the sermons to be, and if you want your hearing of the sermon to translate into action, into tangible things that you do, you have to, really commit it into prayer as well. Commit it into prayer. Say, God, I want to know you more. I want to know your word more. God, I want to know your word more. Help me to not only be a hearer, but also a doer of your word, you know? Yeah, I had to use that example, and I had to use notes because I do take notes. And you have to understand that you have to revisit the things that you write, because you may not always remember everything that you hear. So you have to revisit the things that you write. And you know, I'm also a rapstress. So I know that when I rap, I'm not too good with the freestyling. I missed the boat with the freestyling. But with rapping, when you write, but with my rapping, when I write it out, I see that I commit it to memory more, you know? I commit it to memory more whenever I write out my raps. So basically, when you take notes, when you take notes in the sermon, you're able to commit the sermon more to memory than just hearing it. And we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You know, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So we may want to listen more than we talk. You know, hear the pastor out, you know, as opposed to talking while the sermon is going on. Hear the pastor out. Write down what you're hearing. Commit it to memory, and also try your best to commit it to heart. You know, when you're committing it to heart, commit it to God to help you commit it to heart, and to help you also commit it to action. All right, so that's what I have for you in this edition of Off the Cuff. Hope you all are having a fantastic 2025. And as always, gotta know that you are loved. Peace. Lola GRACE.